Hello Year 4, Mrs. Willis here. We are going to be starting a new science topic which is going to be called human impact. So for the next few weeks we're going to be thinking about how humans have an impact on the environment and the area around them. So today we are learning to understand what impact humans have locally. Locally just means around where we live. Can you remember when we were at school we looked at this book by Jeannie Baker called Window, and the book is all about changes to the local environment. I just want to remind you of some of the parts of the story. I haven't got the whole story here, but just some of it. So if you remember at the beginning, Sam's a baby and their environment around their house is very wild. There is very little human impact. We can't see very much that humans have made, just that garden shed really. Lots of trees and lots of wildlife. And then as the story moves on, more things appear, such as in this story picture. We've got the road, we've got the house on the other side of the road, there's more fencing around their garden. And as Sam grows older and older, we see more and more changes to his local environment. On the other side of the road now, there are lots and lots of new houses that have been built. And then a car garage arrives on the other side of the road, or a car park. There's a new house next door. That wasn't there before. So it's very different from the very first picture that we saw. Lots of changes happening, and more changes happen as the story goes through. We've got a block of flats in the distance now, and a McDonald's on the other side of the road. And if you remember, Sam's an adult now and he's about to move out. And then when he does move out, he chooses a place very similar to what it was like when he was a baby, and now he's got his own baby. So maybe he got fed up with all the changes in the environment as he was growing older, and he wanted a new and more natural start for his baby boy as well. So what I did was I went for a walk just from my house, and I went to see what human impact I could see as I was walking from my house on my daily walk. And I was wanting to see whether I could see some things that people had done that were bad things, and things that people had done that were good things. So this is a photograph of a pond. Now this pond wasn't here about 5 years ago. About 5 years ago, it was a field, and then all the houses were built. But what I thought yesterday when I was out for my walk was that lots and lots of wildlife has come to this pond. As you can see, there's ducks on the pond, and there's probably lots of things living in the pond and on the banks of the pond. So actually, even though they've changed it from a field to a pond, there has been a really positive impact because we've got new wildlife coming. I saw this tree and I noticed that somebody had put an extra piece of wood next to it, and as the tree's been growing, it's been supported by this extra piece of wood. So a person has done that. That's not natural. A person has done that. So that's a positive impact that somebody's made to that tree being able to survive and be supported. This is a house that's been built that used to be on where there was just grass and bushes, and I think that's a negative impact that people have made to that, because that used to be quite a wild area, and it's been changed very much to a place where it's become a building site. And perhaps in the future the people that live in this house will plant new trees and bushes, so perhaps it will be okay in the end, but at the moment it's a negative impact. On the other side of the road from that new house, we saw this little patch of soil, and the people that live at this house have decided that they wanted to plant new grass seed here, and to protect the new grass seed from being trodden on by people walking past, they have created this little barrier to stop people walking on it. So I think that's a very positive thing that people have done to protect that little piece of grass so that it can grow carefully and safely. But then a little bit further along, we saw this big pile of rubbish, and you can see it's a really lovely area and lots of trees and lots of fields, and this very much spoilt that area. So that's negative human impact. Okay, so what we'd like you to do for your science lesson today is, when you go for your daily walk, we'd like you to have a look for some examples of positive and negative human impact. So only about 5 or 6 examples is all you need to find. Now, as you go out, you could take a camera, you could take a phone with a camera on it, or you could just take a notepad and just use your eyes and see what you can see, and see if you think you can find some examples of positive and negative impact as you go for your daily walk. You might see a pond, you might see a tree like I did, you might see a brand new building site, you might see examples of people trying to help wildlife, you might see examples of bird feeders, maybe little hedgehog houses, things like that, that people are trying very much to look after the wildlife coming into their gardens. So don't go into people's gardens, but from walking past you might be able to spot some examples. And when you come back, what we'd like you to do is either to put your photographs onto a document like this so we can see what you've seen, or if you just rather write down what you've spotted on your walk, you can just complete the Word document and upload that onto Teams. If you are unable to go for a walk because you are self-isolating, then I'm going to make another video that will give you a chance to do something slightly different, and we'll upload that instead. So happy hunting, happy looking for your examples this afternoon, and look forward to seeing what you've come up with. Thanks, Year 4.